Hey guys, welcome back. It's Jay from Jay's Garage. Hey, we have the cab back up on the Sonoma frame. They're back together finally. So I'm pretty pumped about that. We just so you know, 'cause there was a little bit of a couple of questions there. We had to put new body mounts in it. And these were the ones that we used for the cab. So here's the part number here real quick. All right. We're gonna get going on everything here. First things first, I'm gonna get the fuel tank cleaned up. It's sitting over there. We're gonna get the bucket and the strainer, or pardon me, the pump and everything in place. We're gonna change our fuel system a little bit. I think we're gonna go to a Corvette pump. Pardon me, Corvette fuel filter, and do a shorter return. And I bought some Russell fittings and some push-on hose, so we'll look at how that works out, and we'll include that in the video as well. We're gonna cut off this deformed strap. It won't come apart, so we're just gonna have to cut it. But luckily, we got new straps, and here's the part number for those. Okay, we got that cut off. One of the things that I just noticed here is I just unbagged those two straps, and there's no attaching hardware. These look like they're permanently attached. We're gonna get that strap off there. We'll clean up this bracket, and we'll find a solution for attaching it. Okay, still doing the fuel tank strap here. So you can see we drilled them out with my eagle eye unevenly, but we're just gonna tap these out of there. Just gonna use a chisel to straighten it out and a punch to drive it out. And we'll continue with getting this together. All right, guys, we're just gonna put in the sending unit in the tank now. So we have a ring, and it just goes underneath these slots here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Okay. The other thing to point out on this particular tank, this tab here, it only goes in one spot. There's a cutout there inside, just for that tab. So let's see if we can get this ringing easily. I don't anticipate too many problems. I usually do the, I'll go to the back, I'll center this, push it in. Now, it doesn't always work that easy. But today did. Okay. So you can see that our ring is all the way in and secured. All right. One sending unit installed. Tank cleaned up. Getting ready to put the bracket back on and install it. We got the tank cleaned up and painted. We've drilled out these flat-headed rivets. With my eagle eye, you can see how straight they were, but not really. Alright, so we need something thin to replace these with. Even though these are on the back side, where the protection is, I still wanted something relatively thin. And what I found, if you're an old Dodge guy like me, is some Dodge torque converter bolts. And yes, they are Dodge torque converter bolts, they're just little guys. And found some nuts, and we're just going to bolt those up. So that's how we're going to bolt on our new strap for our tank, and then we'll just install the bracket back on the tank. And we've painted the tank already, so it's ready to go. Alright, we got the fuel tank all together. We got the strap on. We cleaned up the bracket at the bottom, made some bolts. We've attached everything. Our sending unit's in. We're good to go. Okay, let's go through a couple of our items for using. We're going to put our fuel system in, our fuel tank and stuff. So there's our tank. We already know about that. And there's our Corvette filter. We bought an AC Delco just so we have no more problems, or no problems. What else are we going to utilize? Some Russell push-on hose. guess they call it twist lock. We're going to use some of that. And because it's Russell hose, we bought Russell fittings. We're going to try and assemble most of our items here. And then we'll put the tank in and we'll run some hose with the filter and back for the return. And let's see how this stuff works. On top of that, I bought these anodized vice jaws. They were vice jaws. There's the part number there. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, let's take a look and see what we have here. So we know we have our Corvette filter, and we already listed the part number. All right. So we need fittings to go onto this. So for the outlet here, I ordered this Russell 640940. Okay. And what that'll do is we'll be able to okay, so we have that locked into place. Now we're going to need a fitting to go from here to the hose. So we have one of these 624013 Russell fittings. And what this fitting will do is it's a -6, the same as our line. Okay. It'll bolt or screw on. Sorry. Simply by doing this. All right, so now we'll have our fuel filter mounted on the frame, right? We'll have the outlet going up to the engine. All right. Okay, so we have that. For the back, it's a little bit different. We're going to use one of these fittings here, and it's a 644123. Okay, and what this fitting is, this fitting, we'll take that apart. Okay. We'll install that. We're going to try and install it. There we go. Okay. We'll push this on. So that just pushes on over top. Then we'll screw this on. And we'll tighten it up. And that'll take care of that fitting. Now, we'll need an end for that. And we'll use this -6 624013. Same as this one over here. Okay. Now for this line down here, it's actually a 5/16. So we have, it's a -6, and it's a male to 5/16. Well, it's a male end -6, and then it's a 5/16. So let's put that on here. This might get a little tight. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Get this piece on first. So obviously, when you're screwing these on, at the end, when you feel you have everything fit the way you want it, right, you'll tighten these up. Now, you can use regular wrenches, but you'll damage the black anodized coating, or you can just use anodized wrenches. It's up to you if you have them or not. Okay. Now, again, on the end of this, I probably could have done this a little bit differently. Let's see if this all fits together. It'll be close. Yeah, it does. It just fits. I might actually just tweak that a little bit. But that is all the ends. And then you can bolt this to the frame. So if the front of the truck's this way, you have your inlet, you have your outlet, and you'll have your return. Okay, inlet, outlet, return. You can run your hose up to the front. In our situation, what we've done for our truck is once we run the hose up, so the brake booster ends right here. So I'm probably going to come underneath over here and up into here. Okay, so I've used another one of those 3/8 fittings for here. I bought a piece just specifically for the Phytech fuel pressure gauge, and I bought a 45. But if you want to see what they all are, the front fitting's a 644-123. The middle fitting for the fuel pressure gauge is a 670-343. And the 45 is a 624-083. As well, the Phytech fuel pressure gauge is an 80117. I hope this helps a few of you out that are doing some of this on your own. I know we said we were going to do the throttle body, Trailblazer SS intake, but you guys, I've decided to use the truck intake for now. I can adapt this stuff over. That's not the problem. I just want to get the truck sorted out, and then I'll make changes as I go. Plus, I'd really like to do a test of the truck intake with a 5.3 and a small cam as opposed to the Trailblazer SS intake. I can read dyno tests just like everybody else on the internet, but sometimes it's just nice to see for yourself what the changes are. It's kind of my plan. So that's our fuel system setup. We'll get some hose run. We'll get that tank in. Let's get to work. Alright guys, we got our fuel tank in. We'll start running the fuel system tomorrow, or the fuel line, sorry. Okay, as mentioned, we're going to use Russell push lock -6 line on this fuel system. There's the per number there. And that was for a 6-foot piece, okay? And we have bought some aluminum vice grips, or vice jaws, pardon me, to go in your vice. Alright. So it seemed like a good idea. You read some reviews on this push lock hose, and it doesn't seem that bad. Some people really like it, some people don't. Some people have problems installing it. But if you watch the video of people installing it, and like I just watched one on Summit a while, they just simply say when you go to install this, just push it in, wiggle it around a little bit, and you're done. I thought, well, that's good. Seems to, saves you a little bit of time, a little bit of effort, and I'm looking forward to trying it. Then I read a bunch of reviews, and that wasn't the case. So I thought, oh, I hope that's not true, because, Russell is part of Edelbrock and a lot of other companies there. You think, Well, if it's really that hard, they probably wouldn't just say, yeah, just wiggle it together and it'll just slip right on. So, I got it here. I got my vice jaws out. I put them in the vise. I mounted this in the vise. I couldn't get it on all the way. It was luckily enough I can get it back off right away. And I lubed it with WD-40. And I got it down to about the rubber, and that was it. But I was pushing down so hard, I guess I didn't have this tight enough in the vise. This isn't the one. That I actually pushed it through the vise jaws. Nicked a piece of hose out of here. Scraped up my hand a bit. You know, the usual stuff. So that didn't really work out. When you go online, people say, go ahead and boil. You can boil the hose. And I thought, well, I don't really want to boil the hose. I don't even know what it's made out of. I don't know if that's a good idea. Other people say just use oil. I guess you could, if you want. I see, like, other companies do sell a lubricant to put this on. But I think it defeats the purpose of having to push on hose if you're using lubricant. Then I talked to somebody else. I actually called somebody to ask him. And he said, well, you know what I would do? I just dip that fitting in grease and just push it on and forget about it. And we're not going to do that. So, when I looked it up, Russell does have a little tool that you just clamp the hose in and it just turns it in, much like a cool tool. And you can install the fitting. I wish I would have seen that earlier. I probably would have considered buying one. Now, if you're looking at that, remember, it's not a one-time thing. I have another vehicle this year I'll be doing. I have a nephew doing a 6-liter swap. You'll always use that tool. And I really wanted that one, but I ended up buying a cool tool because once in a while, I don't mind fixing nylon lines and making things up. Fixing things. A lot of the older vehicles we have are breaking lines. You can just buy them or you can just get a fitting and fix them. So, yeah, boiling them in water or adding grease or oil didn't seem like the way to go. Some people say spit on them. Whatever. Anyway, I bought the tool. And, yeah, I'll be able to use it in the future as well. Works really well. We'll take a look and see what you think. Okay, we got one hose end done. Let's do the next one. I quite like using this tool. It's definitely different. It's a lot easier to work with than using spit, oil, or grease and trying to slide this hose on the vise with the vise jaws. I like it anyway. You can feel free to leave any comments with your experiences or what you think. Oops. I just like to make sure that the little barb end is into the hose. Give it a little tighten. Alright, that's the other end of it. Pretty easy stuff. Like I say, most of those marks will come off. Clamp marks, it's on there nice. Don't have to worry about anything coming out of there. It's all good. Let's go install this. Alright, we got the tank end on there by finger. Get underneath the truck. We'll do the other part up. Let's switch this around so you can see what we're doing here. So there's our fuel filter that we like to get to. So let's grab this. Alright, so this is the fuel line, not the return. This is going to be tight under here still. Okay, we'll tighten that after. So as you can see, we have our fuel filter mounted in a relatively stock location. It's back about an inch. We use a Corvette fuel filter because of the way the bracket's designed. You can't mount it from the original hole up there. And if you switch the bracket around, you lose your ground. So I decided to make a small bracket with a stud on the end of it. Actually, a small Chrysler throttle linkage. That way it's easy on and off. It moved it down a little bit further for me so I can get my purge line from my charcoal canister in. Yeah, so it's all working out. We'll tuck our lines away here and we'll tie them up and let's build the next one. Okay guys, we're going to wind this down. We have our 2 fuel lines installed there. We put some conduit over there. Even though that's not really a sharp edge, there's no point taking a chance. So we just wanted to make sure it was taken care of. Wires are hooked up. Everything's done back here. Yeah, it has a charcoal canister. If it doesn't smell up the garage, that'd be great. If it does smell up the garage, I will probably take it back out. But it's in there now. We'll take a quick look under here. We got some light. So there's the 2 lines, and they just go over to the tank and take a slight bend. If I was going to do this over again, I might change the fittings I use to like 90s. I was looking at the supply fuel line, and I'm not too sure if I want to put it between the transmission and the body, or if I want to run it down the frame rail because of the headers I have. So I decided to stop here for the night, and I'll figure out what I want to do after. Here's the hose there. So quite simply, we're just going to do this fitting here. Have a little 45. It can either go down or to the side. That way we can decide what we want to do. But I'm not ready to decide which way I want to put that hose yet. If I come up the frame rail, I have to deal with the header here. If I go between the transmission and the body, like the factory lines do, it's rubber and there's no steel line. It is an HRA approved. It is tough line. It should be no issue. I'm not worried about heat or anything like that. But I'll decide as we keep the build going. It's just one piece of 5-foot hose I got to make here. So other than that, our tank's in, our fuel system's all hooked up, and other than putting a line to the engine, we're good to go. Thanks for watching.